a boy with red hair named Otonasi wakes up in the world of the afterlife with no memories of the time when he was still alive. Immediately after waking up, he meets a girl named Yuri pointing a sniper rifle at a girl in the distance named Angel. Yuri tells him he is in the afterlife and wants him to join her group, the SSS, Shinta Seikai Sensen, which means, Afterlife War Front, in fighting against Angel, but Otonasi, still confused, cannot make up his mind. Shortly after, a boy with blue hair runs towards the two of them asking how the recruitment went. Immediately, Otonasi goes to talk to the girl called Angel instead. She tells him in short phrases that she is not an angel, but they are indeed dead. After Otonasi asks her to prove he cannot die, as he is already dead, Angel makes a sword out of thin air and stabs him through the heart. He wakes up later terrified by what happened and finds himself in an infirmary with his bloody shirt next to him, confirming he was really stabbed. A boy with a halberd and purple hair walks through the door, and after a short rant for defying Yuri, slashes Otonasi 100 times, effectively killing him 100 times. He wakes up later and tries to find a way to escape the world he has come to and decides to ask the people in authority what has happened to him, leading him to the principal's office of what has been revealed to be a school in the afterlife. After turning the doorknob, a giant hammer swings down and knocks him out of the hallway window and down several stories. He is recovered by others and is brought into the room, where he wakes up hearing the others debate over a new name for the SSS. Yuri reveals that the room is the headquarters of the SSS. There, he meets many of the other SSS members and decides to join them for the time being. However, Noda, the boy who slashed up Otonasi, slams open the door to object, but is knocked out the window by the same hammer trap Otonasi was hit by. Yuri later explains things about the afterlife to Otonasi, such as the existence of numerous people Yuri deems non-playable characters, NPCs, as they are not human, but look and act the part. That night, the SSS prepare for Operation Tornado, a plan to steal some meal tickets from the NPCs. A girls' band named Girls Dead Monster in the SSS distracts the NPCs inside the cafeteria while giant fans blow the meal tickets outside. Other SSS members fight against Angel long enough for the plan to be a success, and they retreat while snatching up meal tickets. Later, back in the cafeteria, they eat. Otonasi, still not sure what is the right action in his situation after finding himself in a strange new world, decides he will stay with the SSS while recovering his memories. Since the SSS is low on gunpowder and other supplies, Yuri decides to lead several SSS members to the guild far below the surface where SSS allies make the weapons they use, as it is possible to make things out of dirt as long as they know how. However, the way to the guild is littered with traps meant to stop Angel's advance toward the guild. Noda is killed first, having intercepted the others in the underground tunnel and challenging Otonasi again. He takes a step onto a hidden trap where a giant hammer swings down, much like in the first episode, and knocks him into a wall. Later, walking through the tunnel, a giant boulder is released, and rolls after the SSS. While the others manage to avoid it, Takamatsu is chased down and eventually crushed by it. In a closed room, a projection of several slicing lasers threaten to dice up everyone, but they all manage to avoid it, except for Matsushita due to his size. Entering a large room, the ceiling starts to fall, but TK catches it and holds it up long enough for the remaining members to escape, saying casual farewells to TK as he is crushed. Then, a large pitfall opens up, with Shina barely saving everyone, except Uyama, shouting "I forgot" while falling to his death. Otonasi, at the bottom, climbs up to the top to help pull everyone to safety. Hinata climbs up, but is kicked down into the pit after touching Yuri in a wrong spot. Fujimaki comments how Otonasi was lucky before, but will probably die in the next trap. In fact, Fujimaki dies due to his inability to swim and he drowns. At an in-cave stream, a box with a puppy inside is floating towards the waterfall. Shina, due to her love of cute things, jumps into it to save it, but the puppy is actually a wind-up toy. Shina then falls to her death down the waterfall, leaving Otonasi wondering what kind of trap it was. While taking a short rest, Yuri tells Otonasi how her 3 younger siblings were murdered after burglars entered their home while their parents were gone, which is Yuri's impetus for fighting against the cruel fate God gave her. By the time they arrive at the guild, Angel is almost there, so Yuri decides to destroy the guild with explosives. The guild members, led by Cha, decide to go along with Yuri's plan and relocate to the previous guild location which has been out of use for a long time. When Angel arrives at the guild, Yuri buys them time long enough to escape and make it to the old guild where the guild members immediately set to work. Yuri decides to have Girls Dead Monster distract Angel long enough to sneak into her room and crack the password on her computer, but Yuri does not think the new ballad called My Song the band's vocalist and guitarist Iwasawa wrote would be useful for the operation, seeing as Girls Dead Monster's songs are meant to distract NPCs. As such, She decides to have Iwasawa sit out and lays out the battle plan, which is to use hacker Takeyama, who likes to be referred to by his username Christ. Outside, Iwasawa leaves, appearing downtrodden. While taking a break from shooting practice, Otonasi goes for a soda-labeled key and notices a girl named Yui putting up posters for Girls Dead Monsters. She explains to him that for the first time the concert will be held in the gym, which might make the teachers pissed, then proceeds to rant about the group. Fed up after a while, Otonasi manages to leave and hears Girls Dead Monster playing. He talks with Iwasawa while the band is taking a break. Iwasawa tells Otonasi how her parents used to always fight because her father was an alcoholic, to the point where she couldn't even sleep. She eventually escaped into the world of music after discovering that the vocalist of a band called Sad Machine had a similar background to her. From there, Iwasawa found an old acoustic guitar and began performing on the street, planning to eventually go big in Tokyo after graduating, despite her good grades. After she graduated high school and became a part-time waitress, however, an old head injury caused when her father hit her with a wine bottle led to her death. Iwasawa eventually goes back in as Otonasi realizes that all of the SSS members had bad lives. Angel sees Yui's posters and proceeds to tear one off. The NPCs complain, but she suddenly disappears. She is then seen walking the halls questioning why everyone thinks she's the bad guy. As Yuri's operation begins, Girls Dead Monster start playing in the auditorium while the others, with the aid of Takeyama, break into Angel's room and hack her computer. Otonasi soon objects after realizing that Angel's domain is just an ordinary dorm room. As Girls Dead Monster continues, a displeased Iwasawa goes against the schedule and begins playing a Trump song called Alchemy. They are soon found by several teachers, along with Angel, with one of the band members notifying Yuri about it. Takeyama manages to continue the hack and discovers a list of all the students. Dissatisfied, the group decides to fall back. At the same time, the teachers restrain Girls Dead Monster and proceed to confiscate their weapons. However, when one of the teachers threatens to throw away her acoustic guitar, Iwasawa breaks free in fury and knocks the teacher out. The rest of the band escapes in the commotion, and Iwasawa takes the guitar, proceeding to play My Song. One band member then plays it over the loudspeakers so that the entire school can hear it, including Angel, who walks into the building again, allowing Yuri to continue with the hack. Through the hack, the SSS learn that Angel is not getting her powers from God but is making them herself, thereby implying that there may be no God that they are opposing. Iwasawa, meanwhile, continues to perform, and upon finishing, realizes that her purpose was to sing songs and change people with them, and she has done so in the afterlife even if she didn't do it in life. Then she suddenly disappears into heaven, indicating that one does not necessarily have to obey what Angel says in order to disappear, but just has to find their own purpose. A young boy is seen playing baseball. A ball flies in his direction, and he looks at it calmly. The boy is then revealed to be Hinata. With Iwasawa gone, Yui is suggested by Otonasi to take Iwasawa's place as the vocalist. She auditions by singing a rock version of the show's theme song, but at the end she kicks the microphone into the ceiling, and the other SSS members do not agree with Otonasi's pick due to her being the complete opposite of Iwasawa. Yuri then suggests that the SSS participate in the upcoming baseball tournament, although they would get obliterated for doing so. Hinata starts with recruiting Otonasi, and tries recruiting other athletic members, but all of them choose Takamatsu instead. Left with no choice, Hinata has Yui be an asset for recruitment and a team player, since her strike zone is so small, which somehow results in them bickering. They then recruit Shina, who claims to have a grudge against Otonasi for surviving longer than her when they went for the guild, only joining to compete with him. After that they go for Noda, who also joins for the same reasons. With still 4 players needed, Yui gets 3 NPC girls, who are fans of Yui's, to join their team. During the first round of the tournament, the SSS teams beat their NPC counterparts. Hinata's team manages to win their own game also after a hefty dose of anti-teamwork due to Noda refusing to compliment any of Otonasi's actions. Soon Angel's team arrives alongside Vice President Ayato Naoi, and says that they will participate even though their team is composed entirely of baseball-playing NPCs. Over time, everyone falls to Angel's team made up of members of the school baseball team until only Hinata's team is left. The game is played with the teams being even, but Otonasi manages to bribe Matsushita into joining their team as an outfielder, giving them a boost. As the game is nearing its end, Hinata tells Otonasi that he missed a fly ball in a similar baseball game in life before getting seduced into drugs by one player and being neglected by all the rest. Otonasi believes that Hinata will disappear if they win the game. Just then, Otonasi pitches, resulting in an identical pop fly. Hinata is about to catch the pop fly and win the game, but Otonasi runs to him to prevent him from disappearing, However, Yui comes from behind and puts Hinata in a grapple hold in an attempt at random revenge, and Angel's team wins as a result.